Prince Charming needs a bath.
Come, your young highness. Castle Sturmhagen lays not a full day's trek from here,
Pennyfeather said as he and Lila stood at the foot of the tower that now held a trio of very sad goblins.
The venerable King Olaf and Queen Berthilda can no doubt provide a formidable rescue party for my fellow bards.
I don't know.
Lila hedged.
I mean, I may be a princess, but I'm not so great when it comes to dealing with other royals. I think we should still just go back and tell my mom and dad.
Tut-tut,
Pennyfeather said.
I shall do all the talking. No worries there.
Well, maybe,
Lila said.
Then it's settled,
Pennyfeather said as he straightened the feather on his floppy cap.
And once we've done our civic duty by informing the authorities about the witch, then we can see to it that Sturmhagen's courtiers get you properly fixed up, your highness. We'll get you a new gown with unwrinkled sleeves and new footwear. Have you tried those new glass slippers that are becoming so popular among the aristocracy these days? I hear they're simply darling. I'm sure we could even get your hair recurled if we ask the right people. Worry not, your highness. With my input, you'll be looking like a proper princess again in no time. Now let us be off. Your highness? Your highness? Where did you go? Your highness?
Elsewhere, in the same forest, the four princes pushed their way through the underbrush until they came to a dirt road, several miles from Zubera's stronghold. They stopped to catch their breath and gripe about one another.
Gustav, let me take a look at you,
Liam said.
Go ahead.
Gustav said.
You've got working eyes.
I think you'll be okay.
Liam said, ignoring Gustav's jibe and checking him out anyway.
Between the sparks and the fire, it was probably just too much bright light at the time. A similar thing happened to me once when I was fighting a Xenosian strobe spirit. Your vision should return to normal soon.
How do I look?
Gustav asked.
Bald,
said Duncan.
But on the bright side, you don't look as bad as Frederick.
Starf it all.
Gustav cursed, fingering his scorched, virtually hairless scalp.
You pathetic losers cost me my manly mojo.
Well, wait,
said Duncan.
I tried to help.
Too late.
Gustav burst.
That little comedy act you call helping was too late. And a lot of good it did anyway.
You shouldn't cast blame, Gustav,
Liam said sternly.
You set the whole mess in motion by ignoring my plan.
You said distract the giant, so I did.
Well, there was more to my plan than that.
Liam barked back.
You cooked my head. Was that part of your plan?
I didn't know you'd be standing right there in my way.
Liam snapped defensively.
I did what I could. It's not like anybody else was going to get the job done.
He glared at Duncan and Frederick.
Are you referring to us?
Duncan asked, as he was genuinely unsure.
I don't know why you're looking at me,
Frederick said.
You knew I was no hero. I had no business even being there.
You're right,
Liam snarled.
My biggest tactical error was not doing this alone. Why in the world did I ever think I could do this with a coward, a clown, and a guy who claimed to fame as being beaten by the very witch we need to stop?
With that, Gustav leapt at Liam, tackling him and knocking him to the ground. The two princes rolled in the dirt, each fighting to get on top of the other.
Looks like you can see just fine,
Liam said as they wrestled.
It's still blurry,
Gustav yelled. He smashed Liam into the tree trunk.
I'm glad it's improving.
Liam grunted as he planted his feet into Gustav's chest and kicked him backward.
You're lucky I can't see perfectly yet.
Gustav snarled.
Or I would have crushed you by now.
He reached out and tried to yank Liam down by the cape, but most of Liam's cape was gone. Gustav's hand closed on empty air.
Uh-oh. What happened to your beloved cape? fancy man.
Gustav laughed.
The dragon burnt it up, just like your hair.
You lost your cape. That's good enough for me.
Gustav walked away, chuckling, and took a seat on a tree stump. Liam leaned back against a nearby pine, panting and shooting dirty looks at Gustav. A long, uncomfortable silence then followed.
Well, from where I stand, it's been a pretty good day.
Duncan finally said, drawing some odd looks from the others.
I got to see my very first giant, my very first dragon, and my very first witch, all in one shot.
What about the witch who poisoned Snow White?
Frederick asked. Duncan shook his head.
Never met her.
Liam took a deep breath.
Okay, everyone, let's follow this road and see what... There's a town nearby.
He
Maybe
said.
we can stop for food and a little first aid.
And a change of clothes, maybe.
Frederick added.
A change of clothes would be so nice.
Which direction did we run from the witch's place?
Gustav asked.
East, I believe.
Then there should be a town about 5 miles down the road to the north.
Gustav said.
Flarkstad, it's called. I've always meant to go there.
Why?
Frederick asked.
Because my brothers always told me to stay away from Flarkstad.
Gustav replied.
Flargstag.
Duncan said.
Sounds exciting. Let's go.
And he started heading south. Gustav leaned over to Frederick.
I still can't see great.
He said.
Please tell me he's not skipping.
Lila strode purposefully down a muddy road on her way back to Arinthia. She struck to the path and kept a constant watch for any movement among the trees. While she felt pretty sure she'd know what to do if she ran into any dangerous wildlife, she'd read Native Beasts of Sturmhagen 5 times. She still flinched every time she noticed a scurrying rat or heard the sharp caw of a passing crow. Occasionally she came across a fork in the road, and while she was reasonably certain which path she'd come along, she found it hard to shake the fear that she was becoming lost. She began to question the wisdom of ditching Pennyfeather. A long, drawn-out howl echoed among the trees.
Wolf.
Lila thought.
What did the book say about wolves? Oh, yes. You're supposed to bathe yourself in tomato juice to disguise your scent and keep the wolves off your trail. Crud. That's not helpful.
Then she remembered another piece of advice from Native Beasts of Sternhagen,
When all else fails, run.
and that was what she did. She ran as fast as her legs would carry her, looking down to make sure she didn't lose her footing or trip over a stray rock or tree root. She never even saw Ruffian the Blue until she ran smack into his horse.
Crud!
Lila muttered as the bounty hunter pulled her up onto his horse and quickly looped a rope around her.
Finally.
The bounty hunter sighed.
Do you know how much time I wasted looking for you? So inconsiderate.
His eyes grew misty.
Are you about to cry?
Lila asked.
It's hard being the best at something.
Ruffian sniffed.
People expect so much from you. It's a lot of pressure. I'm just glad I finally have you and can get back to my job now.
You could have just kept going after my brother.
Lila said.
You didn't have to come back for me.
Yes, I did.
Ruffian said.
You were going to get in the way. You're a way-getter-inner, I can tell.
The bounty hunter rode off with a tied-up Lila lying across the back of his horse.
Besides, you never know what kind of nasty things might step out from behind those trees.
He said. An hour later,
So, what are you doing now?
Lila asked. Ruffian was crouched on the ground, examining a set of footprints.
Why do you keep asking me questions?
He moaned without looking up.
I just want to know what you're doing.
Lila said.
It seems interesting.
Ruffian sighed.
4 people went this way. 3 of them were chained together.
How can you tell?
The angle. Plus, some of the prints are deeper at the toes than the heels. Guides towards the back of the chain were being dragged by the one ahead of them. There are knee and hand prints, too. One of them fell down a lot.
Can I see?
No, I tied you up for a reason.
Ruffian climbed back onto the horse and sat in front of Lila. He gave the animal a kick and started trotting off the road into the forest.
So why are we following these prints?
Lila asked.
We are not following anything.
Ruffian said.
I am. And I'm following them because your brother is part of the group that made them.
You can tell that from the footprints?
Lila asked, very impressed.